Welcome, I'm Joshua Silverstein.
And I'm Evelyn Rudy.
And this is Santa Monica On Stage, where we talk about the people and venues that make the city of Santa Monica the cultural destination for the performing arts.
We have a great show for you. We're spending some quality time in the visual arts world with our pals at 18th Street Arts Center.
But first, we'll kick things off with Elemental Strings, a group that's giving kids a hands-on experience with music.
Some of those very kids are going to perform for us. I can't wait.
Don't wait, let's get started.
With arts funding becoming harder to come by in our schools, Elemental Strings is a wonderful exception. Our guest today works diligently to make sure students from 3rd to 5th grades get a running start on the world of music. Thank you, Dr. Josephine Morshell, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, when I was in elementary school, which is back in the dark ages, music was a daily part of our class time.
Absolutely.
I was so excited the day that they let me play the auto harp. But I know with all of the funding cuts over the years, music has gotten less and less in the schools. And you have a wonderful organization. Can you tell us why you think music is so important, so vital to young people growing up?
Well, I can speak to my own experiences. I also grew up where we had music as part of the curriculum. I grew up outside of Chicago, and not only did we have music as elementary school students, but we had visual arts and we had dance, and it was the best part of the day. It was an opportunity to move around, it was an opportunity to think in a different way and interact with everybody in a different way. And so for me, it was always this place where I had my closest friends. It was an opportunity to get on stage, but never by yourself, so you always had your friends on stage with you. And as I went through high school, I realized there was nothing else that I'd rather be doing than making music. So that's why it's important to me. And I think that the reason why music has stayed important here in Santa Monica is because parents remember that experience that they had when they were growing up. And they know that music not only helps them become better musicians, but they help students think more critically. They help students be better learners. There's a lot of research that supports that. And I think that's why Santa Monica has one of the most well-respected music programs in all of Southern California.
Do you get the parents that are against letting their kids play the viola or piano or violin?
Now, is there a reason why you picked the viola to start with?
Because I don't like viola. No. Yes, I work with kids and parents too, and I find parents who are against letting their kids do that stuff for fun. They'd rather the kids focus on science or history.
Here in Santa Monica, most of the families, this is one of the best things about being part of this community. Yeah. All of the students not only get music, but it's mandated. They all have general music in 3rd grade. They have instrumental music in 4th and 5th grade. And it starts the kids off with a good foundation so that when they get to middle school, they can make their own choices of what electives they want to do. And there's a really large percentage of students who enjoy their experiences with music so much during elementary school, they choose to continue at the middle school, and they choose to continue at the high school.
Can you tell us a little bit about Elemental Strings and how it started?
Absolutely.
And how somebody gets involved?
So Elemental Strings started about 9 years ago. It was a program under the auspices of the Maestro Foundation, which is a music foundation here in Santa Monica. And our first music director was also the music director at Lincoln Middle School. And what he wanted to do was create a program that would get elementary school kids excited about playing so that they'd want to keep playing in the middle schools. And he thought, once I could get them in the door at middle school, I can keep them playing. But the challenge was getting them in the door. So we started with a group of 25 students that first year. And those kids graduated from high school 2 years ago. Since that first year, we've had over 400 students participate in our programs, and we've just continued to grow exponentially in the last few years. It's been really exciting.
What's the trick? How do you get the kids, stoked about playing the instruments? What are you giving them? Like, is there candy tucked into the strings somewhere where they're like, oh, there's jelly beans in this, I'm gonna play it forever?
Well, we believe music is accessible to everyone. So we talked earlier that sometimes people think of classical music as this very stuffy experience, but the truth is, especially here in Los Angeles, classical music is really cool. It's such a great opportunity to go to the LA Philharmonic at Disney Hall and see all the different kinds of people that are going.
Right.
And we're starting from 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We're teaching them that you can play the classics, you can play other pieces. We have a great composer in residence, Robert Anderson, who's been writing works for us. We had one work that was in a reggae style. We had another one that was based off of a Japanese folk tune.
Oh, awesome.
So the students really get to see music in a variety of styles.
That's great.
It's non-discerning. It's all music. You don't have to like one kind and not the other kind. You can like it all and experience all sorts of different kinds of music.
So you started as one of the original teachers, and now you've graduated to, is it executive director?
It is. I'm the executive and artistic director.
And you play the viola.
I do play the
What
viola.
a terrible, horrible instrument.
So do you also, aside from teaching, you play professionally?
I do. I am a freelance violist in town, so I've played with a number of different orchestras around, and I do a lot of teaching as well. So I'm wearing a lot of hats these days, but it's really fun, and it keeps life very interesting.
Where have you played?
I've played at Walt Disney Concert Hall. I've played with the LA Opera, a lot of the other orchestras that are all over Southern California.
Are there challenges? I mean, my piano teacher quit on me when I was 8, so I'm just jaded and bitter. How do you, what are some of the issues that come up with working with kids and music in this program?
We don't have too many of those kinds of issues.
Amazing.
Our kids are really excited to come. I mean, our rehearsals are on Friday afternoons. It's the end of a very long week for all of us, including the teachers. But the kids can't wait to get here. They start playing. We have to kick them out the door after rehearsal.
That's
Some
exciting.
of them just don't want to leave.
Wow.
We have great teachers that really know how to inspire the kids, and I think that's much of our success is the great team of teachers that we have.
Do you think maybe the low student-teacher ratio has something to do with it also?
Absolutely. One of the challenges when you're running an orchestra program is the fact that usually you have one conductor and you have a multitude of kids depending on the size of the group. But we really try to keep our teacher-student ratio down to 8 kids for every one teacher.
Wow.
And so even during orchestra rehearsal, we have teachers who are in the back of the orchestras. They're helping the kids mark things in their music. They're helping correct technical problems that they see. So all of our students get a lot of attention from not just the conductors, but from all of the teachers in the program. And these are relationships that they have far beyond their time with us. These are relationships that they end up having for a really long time.
That's wonderful. I remember I was in orchestra in high school, and I played piano, but there were 7 other kids who also played piano. So they were better than I was, and I played the triangle and the timpani. And there was the one conductor and like 70 kids. So I think it's awesome that they get this kind of personal attention.
Right.
It's so important, and it will inspire them also.
Yes.
Rather than just being a cog.
And we have a really amazing mix of teachers. We have some that are public school music teachers. We have some that are also freelance musicians like myself. We have teachers who primarily focus on private teaching. And so the kids get to see adults doing music in a variety of different ways. And I think it expands their concept of what the identity of a musician can be.
That is awesome. And congratulations on what you're doing to help keep music alive and growing in Santa Monica. Thank you again, Josephine, for joining us today.
Thanks.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with a special performance from Elemental Strings.
Good morning, sunshine.
If he were, he'd tell you, right? You're too healthy to be. He didn't look sick.
What if you weren't safe every time? What if he's sleeping with his ex? What if it broke? If you are HIV positive, what happens next?
You don't have to live with Mr. Doubt. Common Ground offers free testing and care for HIV and STDs, including hepatitis. Just stop by or call us.
It's time you know.
We're back, performing Medieval Kings by Sunhee Newbold. Please welcome Keeler Tung, Deanna Romero, Amani Jarmakani, C.G. Smoleff, Shira Blatt, Ben Frizzell, and Sophia Marie Lusitana.
Welcome to our home away from home.
Action.
When I came here, I discovered I could write.
I found the confidence to share my poetry, and now they're songs.
I got away from the trouble in my neighborhood.
Come check us out.
At the Pico Youth and Family Center.
Join us.
Or volunteer. Together, we can change our world.
That's a wrap.
Eighteenth Street Art Center is our own little hub for the visual arts here in Santa Monica. Not only do they support artists with valuable residencies to create new works, but they also engage the public with lectures and tons of free art events. We're thrilled to welcome Executive Director Jan Williamson, and she's brought along a renowned international artist, Carolina Caicedo, to talk about the residency program. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So Jan, how did 18th Street Art Center come to be?
We've been around for 25 years, and it was founded by a group of artists who initially started a magazine called High Performance Magazine, and they were based downtown Los Angeles. And they had a group studio down there, and the publisher of the magazine purchased what is now 18th Street Art Center here in Santa Monica. It's 5 buildings, 30,000 square feet of artist studio space, and it grew from there.
Awesome. Wow. And Carolina, you're all kinds of amazing. Tell us about your installation.
The installation at 18th Street is part of a project called Be Damned. It's a research that explores concepts of flow and containment, looking at how a body of water is contained through the construction of a dam, and looking how a social body is contained by physical, legal, or psychological ways. And when I say a social body, it can be an individual, a group of people, a community, part of the society. So I'm interested in finding the theoretical and visual analogies and similarities between that form of containment.
So Jan, from what I understand, over these past years, you've had thousands and thousands of artists and exhibits, and also, I think, over 300 in the Visiting Artists program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. We have a Visiting Artist Exchange program. We host artists from all over the world. We have 4 live-work studios that are dedicated to visiting artists. And we host about 25 artists every single year. Right now, for example, we have an artist from Israel, from Norway, from Taiwan, and France on our campus, and they're living and working there. We've had artists from every single continent. We haven't had an artist from Antarctica, but we've sent an artist there. So
to freeze and
she did Lita Albuquerque did a project with the National Science Foundation there.
Wow.
So.
And what's the medium that you're working with in your installation, Carolina?
I am working with video, so I created a 2-channel projection, 2 synchronized videos that make the parallelisms between dams as a form of containment and other like human forms of containment. I worked with appropriated images that are printed and mounted and intervened. I work with sculpture, so there's a couple of concrete casts also in the show. And then there's a site-specific installation that consists of 2 mounds of earth that channel the way people enter the exhibition, and they hold 2 prints of a satellite image. So there's also, satellite imagery. It's the first time I work with satellite images. And the satellite image is of a dam that's being constructed in Colombia that is basically the starting point of this research. Right. It's a huge dam over 150 feet high that will impound approximately 50,000 acre-feet of water. Wow. And it's being constructed in the Magdalena River in Colombia, which is the backbone, the economic backbone of the country. So it's a very there's a big conflict around the construction of this dam because there's a fragmentation of the river, there's a fragmentation of the ecosystem that the river hosts, right. There's a fragmentation of the social fabric, and on top of that, this is the first dam that's being constructed by a private corporation, transnational corporation in the country. So what bothers me and makes me really angry is that this public body of water, the river that belongs to all the Colombian citizens, is being privatized. So this is a starting point to then speak within the installation and the other pieces in the installation about other forms of containment.
Right. How did you come to bring your work to Santa Monica?
Well, I received the invitation from the curator at 18th Street. Her name is Pilar Tompkins Rivas. I had worked with her before in previous. Actually, I had shown in a show she curated at 18th Street 2 or 3 years ago, a group show. And this time she invited me to work in the space in an individual way. So it's an individual show. So there was already a relation with the space. Also, I have been here before visiting the Open Studios days, coming to the events also. So that's the way I got invited by the curator.
So
at
you were
18th
just
Street.
doing your thing enough that someone noticed your work.
Right. Yeah. With Pilar, we have worked, and we know each other for a number of years, and yeah, she keeps track of how the work is developing, and also my relationship to her is very productive. Also, like her work as a curator also brings in very interesting, positive feedback for my work to also, keep on developing.
Jan, how does somebody, do they apply? Do you, obviously you look for certain artists, but do other artists come to you and say, can I work here? Can you have me here? How does that work?
I asked, she said, I can't be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. She said, nope, what you do is silly, no.
Well, in the program that we have that Carolina's work is being presented through is called the Artist Lab series. And so it really focuses on Los Angeles-based artists. And we host 4 of those residencies a year. And each artist gets $5,000 and 3 months in our main exhibition space to develop new work. And we're really interested in artists who are pursuing provocative ideas, who are at a particular point in their career, or they have a concept of that 3 months of extended period of investigation where in our space where the work could really develop, which is very different than a gallery show or a museum show, where when you're working in that kind of a context, usually the expectation is you've already completed the work, and then somebody else is taking the work and installing it in a situation that the artist may have some say in that process, but in this instance, Carolina has 24-hour access of our gallery, plus the funding support that we provide her, plus the support of our curator and our staff, and really developing work on site. And so the work that she's been creating that's now up on our campus, we think will have a life beyond 18th Street. We're very honored to be able to premiere it at 18th Street, but also well, I should say that it's also being presented at a gallery right now, a similar aspects of the same story that she's researching is being presented in Berlin right now as well. So this is part of the decision-making process that goes into selecting an artist of Carolina's caliber. Is thinking about that connectivity and where they are in the development of that project, and when can 18th Street really help make that particular body of work and that artist do something extraordinary.
And it sounds like you guys are also very much activists, like you're creating work that, or showing work that's about a message and about, I guess, social awareness or change in the world we live in.
Our mission is to provoke public dialogue through contemporary art making. Nice. And so Carolina's work definitely hits that right on the nose. There's, building a mega dam which is not even, this particular dam is not going to benefit the people of Colombia. It's being financed by a transnational corporation, and to export the power to outside of this Colombia. So we have to think about these things.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's what art's all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Or should be.
And thanks for being on our show, Jan and Carolina, and we're going to see your exhibit as soon as we can.
Wonderful.
Thanks. So we're not quite done yet. Stick around. We'll be right back here at Santa Monica On Stage.
Hey! I don't know you. Some problems are just too big to ignore. But don't take matters into your own hands. With the help of a mediator, you can find a solution. Mediators are volunteer professionals who can help you resolve issues without the high cost of legal fees.
Wonder if he's single.
Hey, I saw him first. Oh boy, here we go. Call us or reach out on the web if you'd like to volunteer or donate.
Now to perform Beyond Control from the exhibit Be Damned, choreographed by Rebecca Hernandez. Please welcome Rebecca Hernandez, Ebony Houston, Victoria Rose Wolf, and Carolina Caicedo. So what did you think about Elemental Strings?
I thought they were awesome. I am in awe of anyone who can play a stringed instrument that doesn't have frets. I can play the guitar because I know where to put my fingers, but they're like little
and they're
kids.
Like 10 and
beautiful sounds and loving the music. When they were practicing and they were rehearsing before the performance, can we do it again? Can we do it again?
It's
awesome.
Exciting.
And you love art.
I love art.
I love art too.
I love visual art. I used to be a tour guide for LACMA many years ago in the late 90s, and just a big fan of how art continues to evolve and encompass activism and current events. I love it.
Well, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's our show for today. Every week we're continuing our journey towards learning more about the arts groups that make Santa Monica's cultural world so rich.
We look forward to seeing you next time as we introduce you to a few more of our friends here at Santa Monica On Stage.